everybody. We are back again on another tutorial on our previous clock. Okay, if you remember correct, our clock, we had an original clock that counted seconds, and we wanted to be able to change time zones. So we added this combo box that allows us to change the current time. Alright, well, it's come to an attention that we need another feature added to this. Our boss has come to us and asked us to make our clock where we can have a 24-hour clock or military time. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add this feature today. So very first thing, what we probably want to do, we probably want to add a button here or a way to switch back and forth. I started out where I was going to start formatting and so on and so forth, but I don't think I'm going to really worry too much about formatting because, well, I mean, it's pretty easy to do. Maybe at the end we'll format everything after we know what it turns out to be, but currently right now we're not going to. So alright, what we want to do, we want to add another column definition. We're going to go ahead and up here and copy this, and we're going to paste it here. Okay, so now we want to, right next to our combo box, we want to add a toggle button. This toggle button, it's going to be in grid.column, and we're going to say 2, and grid.row 0. Alright, so, oops. Alright, and let's just write in content to make sure it shows up. Alright, it pops up. It is there. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to put a little binding here. And this is going to be bound to clock. And we're going to say clock type. Clock type. I can't spell. Alright. And we're also going to bind this is checked to clock dot is military time. Alright, so let's go ahead and add these properties to our clock. Alright, let's go ahead and open our clock up. And so we're starting to get a few more things here. Let's start organizing this a little more. Go ahead and put this up here. Alright. And we're going to have a constant up here, a couple of them. And this one's going to be AM, PM. You can name it whatever you want. That's just what I named it. And we're going to have another private const string and military. And we're going to say 24 hour. Alright, let's go back and look at our property names again. So we have clock type and military is military time. So let's go ahead and add that. Okay. And let's do one more. It's going to be a string. Oops. ReSharper's messing with me again. And this is going to be clock type, is I think what we call it. Alright, and now we will copy this, paste it up here as well. Alright, let's get some of these things a little closer. Alright. Now, let's try that out. What we want is to update the public void, and we want to say update clock type. Sorry. Alright, so what we want is to be able to update our button name when we click it. So we're going to say if is military time, then we're going to say clock type equals 24 or military, else we're going to say clock type equals or AM PM. Alright, now let's go back to our view model here, and we're going to say clock update time zone. Oop, not update time zone. Clock update clock type. Alright, let's try that out, make sure that works. Our button didn't show up. Oh, that's because we didn't put anything in it. So we'll just type clock type. Well, actually what we should do is go ahead and make a default here. So clock, let's go ahead and set our default clock type equal to AM PM. Alright, so click it, it doesn't do anything. Not sure why. Maybe we didn't bind it. We did bind it. No, we probably didn't put mode 2-way. Alright, let's try changing that to it's not working. Alright, so let's alright, so we're going to add a breakpoint here and see what's going on. We're not hitting our breakpoint. Oh, makes sense, because alright, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's say, let's add another. So the reason why it's not is because we put it with this delegate command that is changing when we change the combo box, not when we alright. So we will now and that should take care of that. Still not doing it. Oh, because we didn't. Alright, because we didn't. Unchecked. We didn't register the command there. Alright, third time's a charm, I guess. We hit our breakpoint. It is military, so we run it. That changes to 24-hour. Alright, perfect. So let's give it a consistent width. I know we said we weren't formatting, but you know, we just wanted to look okay. I mean, let's check that, make sure it doesn't change. Alright, so good. Alright, so now what we want to do, we actually want to make this show AM or PM according to if it's if it is actually a regular time, and if it's not a regular time, we want it to be empty, and we want the hours to show, well, now 1900 because it is 7 p.m. Okay, so we're going to actually, we don't want to violate the open-close principle. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and make this an abstract class. Okay, and that will break some stuff, but that's okay. We're actually going to go ahead and extract a method here, and this is going to be update time. Alright, so okay, and we also want to go ahead and we did make that an abstract. So now we're going to go ahead and add a new class. It's going to be regular time. Okay? It's going to inherit from time. Okay? And regular time, it needs to know a couple things. It needs to know, first of all, how to create it. Okay? It also needs to know whether or not it should show AM or PM. And it also needs to, so we're going to go ahead, we probably don't want this to be private. We don't need this to return anything. And it can be void. We're actually going to go ahead and make him not static, but we are going to make him protected so our subclasses can see it, and we're going to make it virtual so we can override it if we would like. So this wants it to be static. Alright, so what we can do is this. We can say t dot update time. And now no longer need to have these in here. Alright. But we also want, and they both will need to add a second, and they both will need to and probably change things and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and move some of these properties around just like we did in the previous one. We're going to go ahead and remove this because we no longer are going to be able to use that. We probably are no longer going to be able to use this as well. We know we're going to break some stuff, but that's okay. Okay. I would personally like to also do this. I would like our hour to be virtual, and I would like this one to be protected. We also now we want to go ahead and do this as well. Let's just minimize these because they're in the way. We want to have abstract protected, abstract void, and it's going to be add second. Okay. So now let's go to our regular time. He's going to tell us that we need to implement that, which is correct, we do. Let's go ahead and have our public static implicit operator regular time, and we're going to have a date time, and he is going to return a new regular time that is going to have our hour d dot hour our minute d dot minute, and our second d dot second. Alright, so now we can say update time. Alright, but we also, remember we said we needed to be able to know which one is whether or not it's AM or PM. So we're going to have a property that's going to be a string resharper is giving me crap again, and it's going to be AM PM. Okay, and because I have resharper I can do this, which will do what we need. So we actually do want to return it that way, and we want to set the property here so it will update the UI. Alright, now we want a method that or we want here to update the AM or PM when they add a second, because every second it can change. So I'm going to go ahead and have a private method. It's going to be a void. We don't need it to return anything. And I'm going to have it call update AM PM. Okay. We don't need to pass anything in. We just need to say if hour is greater than 11, then we want it to be PM. If not, we want it to be AM. So we're going to say AM PM equals, and I'm going to say hour greater than 11, then we want it to be PM. If not, we want it to be AM. Alright, if you didn't know, we're going to have a couple constants here. And let's just have that show up like that. Okay, so now we just need to say update AM PM. Alright, that's perfect. Now we need to add that in the UI. So we can add a label or a text block. That's right here. Let's go ahead and make him, well, he's going across 3 already, so that should be about right. We're now going to get rid of this string.format because we don't need it, and it's going to be AM PM. Oh, we want it current time, AM PM. Now, let's go to our clock. In current time, it doesn't like that. So, because current time is actually a time which no longer has that. So let's just go ahead and default it to this. Let's go ahead and say regular time. Call it current time. Equals date time. Dot now, and then just go ahead and assign it to current time. Alright, now that should handle what we need so far. We should see an AM or PM there now. Let's go ahead and run it. Uh-oh, we broke. So that's because we are trying to do this. So let's go ahead and say current time dot add second. This needs to be public. Okay. Okay, so our clock is doing the same thing that our other one did. Okay, so now that should do what we need. Alright, and it does show our AM, which is perfect. Now, let's go ahead and add our military time. Okay, so it's saying there is a military time already in there, but there isn't. So I don't know what's going on. I'm going to hit pause and figure it out. I'll be right back. Alright, so I don't know what it was. I actually right clicked and add class and it worked. It was just ReSharper giving me a hard time. So that's okay. We're going to go ahead and inherit from time. And that said, we need to do a few things here. We need to go ahead and update time here, correct? Because we need to do that no matter what. Alright, so, and actually, better yet, it might be better to go ahead rather than abstract, because we don't really need to do this here. Let's go ahead and just make it a virtual and have it call update time automatically. That will be better. Okay, so now our other one still should work because we've overridden it. But when we need to, and it does. You see that? Perfect. Alright, so now we don't need to have that method there. We do, however, need to add a few things here. We need to have a public static implicit operator. It's going to be military time. It's going to be a date time. It's going to be date. And we're just going to return new military time with an hour being d.hour. Minute equals date.minute. And second equals date.second. Okay. Now, we do need to do one more thing here. We need to add an operator that will allow us to say plus plus. So we're going to have a public static implicit, but actually we don't, because we added our, so we don't need that anymore. Let's not do that. Alright, our next step, we do need to override our hour, because our hour doesn't need to be, if you remember correctly, in our time, what we did with our hour, we added this extension method that said toHourInt. So that won't work here. So let's just override our hour. And just have a getter and a get can now return hour, and set can set property ref. Okay, and now we probably need to get rid of one of those. Alright, so now how do we make this change? Well, it's pretty simple, right? We just change it in our clock. We already call it here. Let's just go ahead and say if is military time, then we can say else. And we can say current time. Do the same thing here. Make it regular time. And go ahead and set this here. actually be better just to get rid of this altogether. Say current time. Alright, now that should change to what we want. Go ahead and run it. We click this. We now get 19. Click this. It goes back to AM PM. But the AM PM is not correct. If you see that, it actually is showing AM. Alright, so why is that? Well, I think it's because we're doing hour, uppercase hour. We need to say this hour. Now you see PM is correct. So we see 19 and we go back. Alright guys, well that's another tutorial on the clock. I hope you like it. If you would like to see anything else on it, please comment in the comments below. Thanks.